So I just be sitting here thinking, back in the day, men understood their roles a little bit differently and a little bit more clear, if you ask me. They understood that in order to obtain a certain type of woman or just to land a woman and have that woman build his home and his house into a home and to bear his children, that he needed to have certain things going for himself. He needed some type of accolades. He needed some type of stature. He needed money. He needed security. He needed to show leadership qualities and all of these things, right? So fast forward to today, to the man today. Men understand how to get money. They know how to build their stature. They know how to obtain certain accolades to make themselves appear to be more presentable to the woman's eye. But then they get all these things and somehow this switch flips in their mind and they become the prize, and they think that women are supposed to flock to them, beg of them, and pursue them. That's not really how it's supposed to work, guys.
So first of all, I can't help but hear the smoke detector. It just, one of those things that once it's pointed out, you never can unhear it, unsee it. Secondly, there's a lot in here that just misconstrued. Yeah, in back in the day, right? Back in the day, the roles were clearly delineated. You knew what you were supposed to do. Men knew, women knew, men knew. I'm doing this. I'm getting this. Well, when you and that was an equilibrium. Everyone kind of was like, fine, this is how it works. When women's liberation came and they wanted more, they wanted differently, that threw things out of balance. So when more and more women became to started to ascribe to these different ideas and they wanted to go out there and work, and then you were pressured, even if you didn't agree to that, you went out there, you were pressured to go out there and work. So the equilibrium was thrown off so much that we had to establish a new one. And most of the time, men are going to follow the trend, right? The trend is set by women because women are granting them access to sex, granting them access to children, family. So you're going to let us know what is required for X, Y, and Z. If you don't like the state of things, that's because the bottom was dropped out and then the bottom was dropped. It did not take all these other things it did in the past to get what men were looking, what men were seeking. So this isn't a video to say it's women's fault. It's meant no, no, no. It's just to say let's understand the market forces at play here. This way we can have a better understanding. We can have less obtuse takes like this, where you're trying to, in a backhanded sort of way, try to put it on men and saying, you knew what you were supposed to do. You got all these things in order for you to get a good woman. But we're gonna have to break down. We're gonna play it again. We'll break down a couple of things that she said that was just flat out wrong. Before that, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still trying to do a day, even though the algorithm is doing whatever it wants right now. And it's not just me; it's all sort of creators feeling it. But whether or not it does what it does, we're still just going to show up and do what we're supposed to do. All right, so we'll play that one back and then we'll break it down.
So I just be sitting here thinking, back in the day, men understood their roles a little bit differently and a little bit more clear, if you ask me. They understood that in order to obtain a certain type of woman or just to land a woman and have that woman build his home and his house into a home and to bear his children, that he needed to have certain things going for himself.
So, all right, fair assessment, right? I think we all could say, yeah, she's right. Men understood that you had to have things in order for you to basically, provide for a family. It's a little misconstrued in saying that, yeah, you need this for a woman. No, you need this so you can take care of a woman because she's going to now give you a house, give you home, give you children. Right. I have to be able to provide for said children, provide for a wife. Back in the day, stay at home wives was the norm. So a man knew he had to have a job. What she's not understanding, being obtuse or not, that it took you a normal job to afford that. This is when capitalism was the economy is a lot more, you know, uh, is a lot more equal. You didn't have to be a CEO to afford a stay-home wife. You just had to have a job at the factory. That was enough for you to afford your house, sending kids to college, taking care of a two, um, a wife and two kids and a dog and a car and a vacation. A single job was enough of that. A traveling VCR salesman could support his family on just his job. When this is another layer of things that changed. Today, what's required or what is being put out there as saying that a man is supposed to do, he's got to be a CEO. These conversations now, you're trying to take the same thing that was back in the day, say, yeah, a man had to do something. Yeah, now a man has to be extraordinary. He has to be extraordinary in order to sit you at home, pay for the kids, and give you a life of luxury. Not just that, all right, you're going to be a stay at home mother, you're going to be a stay at home wife. No, you still want to feel that you're secure just in case this goes south. You still want to have money that you can spend without having to check in with him. You still want a large measure of autonomy, independence, even though he's footing the bill monetarily. And again, we're not here to say that's wrong. We're here to just understand that what you're comparing what men used to do between what you need men to do today is very different. You can't work at Amazon and afford to keep you at home and two kids and a vacation and a car, maybe two in the driveway. Can't do that. So there's a big disparity, a big difference in what men did back then versus what is possible now. So the highlight also is you didn't do it just because you were interested in a woman. Did it because society said this is your role. We're adhered a lot closer to societal structural roles than we do today. Now you can do what you want as long as you're willing to either run from the consequences or accept the consequences. There isn't a large structure in place to shame you, knowing that you didn't show up to church on Sunday when everyone else did. You didn't show up for the football game, for the barbecue, for the social event of the week, and people can start talking, saying, what's going on with Bill? What's going on with Jim? We don't have that anymore. So you largely get to do what you want without a structure keeping you tied in place. Let's continue.
He needed some type of accolades. He needed some type of stature. He needed money. He needed security. He needed to show leadership qualities and all of these things, right?
And all those things took a job. All those things took a job and a subscription to the larger society, the church, right? The local events. It didn't take much. It didn't take much. Today, that's magnified. You want to have status today, that takes a lot more for you to do.
So fast forward to today, to the man today. Men understand how to get money. They know how to build their stature. They know how to obtain certain accolades to make themselves appear to be more presentable to the woman's eye. But
No, they don't. On average, no, they don't. Average salary, is what, 50 to $60,000. That's not how to make money. You know how to get a job. Right? A lot of the information is locked away, never to be opened in books. It's possible people see the avenues of it, but we like to pretend like it's such a simple thing to do to become a multimillionaire. There's a reason it becomes a stratified market. Yes, there's more millionaires today than there ever was before, but that doesn't mean that it's just a simple thing that if men don't accomplish it, that something is inherently wrong with them. We put that on men saying, you know what you're supposed to do. The patriarchy is for males, and you can't manage to access it. And no, that's not what reality, you know, actually is.
then they get all these things, and somehow this switch flips in their mind, and they become the prize, and they think that women are supposed to flock to them, beg of them, and pursue them.
This is exactly what happens when you do have someone that faces insurmountable odds, make something of themselves, and realistically, you don't have to be a multimillionaire to start, separating yourself from the pack. You're doing well. You're making the right decision. You're being judicious with your seed. You don't have kids running around, the planet. So when you have accomplished the laundry list of things put out for you, and this is by women, by society, saying this makes you a successful man. This makes you the peak. This makes you desirable. You've got a majority of those things checked off on the list. There's very little incentive, especially when it becomes known. Status becomes a very observable thing. You'll get attention from women if a man can meet your grueling standards as a woman. He probably meets the next woman's and the next woman's and the next woman. This is the reality of the day. Yes, those men become the prize because they are now breathing rarefied air. And the rarefied part of it was set by women. You can do these things that a regular man can't. You can do the things that men of old used to be able to do. You could do it today with stricter conditions, harsher conditions, with the world set up largely against you. You've made it. Yeah, you're the prize, right? And there's really nothing else that needs to be said about that. You, at this point, as a man that has done these things, has made it. You can't be shamed. You can't be shamed and and cajoled and tricked, into place and saying, "Oh yeah, you're right. I now, after accomplishing these things, I should now lower my head, bend the knee to just the next person I meet because you now can transform my house into a home. You can give me children." No, at that point, you start realizing, you start looking at it as market forces. If you and this is not in no way to downplay the importance of childbirth, of being able to, you know, create life or to at least, gestate it, right? Whatever side of that you want, that's a different video. But what you can do as a woman, another woman can. And another woman can, barring it, holding that everything's healthy, everything is normal, everything's with the proper age range. That thing that you're saying makes you special. Every one of them can do it. The thing that you're saying would make a man special, he's accomplished it. It's not the same. Well, yeah, another man can get you. Yeah, but another man couldn't you set you at home and give you a life of luxury. Another man couldn't do that. He can. In what world, if he can do something that other man can't, but you can't do anything specifically that other woman can't, where's it? Where's the prize? What you want to say about these things that women can do in terms of transforming this, giving you a life. If he doesn't want kids, or if he does want kids, that's readily available. That option is readily available. Even if he wants to go a non-traditional route and get a surrogate somewhere, he can afford it. Now, the things that you say transform, make a house a home, he can do it. Right? You can design the home, you can make it warm, you can make it comfortable, you can make it inviting, you can make it everything you need to do. Outside of the femininity, you can't do men can't do anything about that. But when you are coming up in a society that is largely devoid of it, it's hard to miss what was never there. This isn't a hard concept, but it's a bitter one sometimes to realize and swallow and try to understand. Listen, if you got something to add, you disagree, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And you made it to the end. You still listen to my voice. You haven't subscribed, I think you should. You're trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.